Hey everyone, this is supposed to be my 100 subscribers special that I should have recorded a while ago, but you know, I'm always lazy, I just do this whenever I want and it's not even high quality. Like, I think I actually accidentally killed some of my streaming options by accident when I was updating OBS, but... So, the 100 subscribers special is supposed to be how I play Baton Pass. And you're probably going to look at my team and you're going to be like, what the hell is this? So you see that I have Medicham and I have Pangoro in the same team and you're like, what? But wait, but with which one do you actually sweep the boss? And then you're going to see like Cottonee and Whimsicott, what the hell, and Jumpluff and Fortress. So you know that I use some really weird stuff. So I'm going to try to explain to a newbie how this team exactly works and how Baton Pass exactly works. Baton Pass, this move, basically. It's like U-turn, ball switch, for example, but these moves target yourself instead of the opponent. It's Baton Pass, referring to it, and it switches to another Pokemon in your party. What's the difference between these moves? U-turn and ball switch damage the opponent and switch to another party member, but it doesn't keep the stat bonus that you might have gained from another move. So for example, if I use Source Dance and I use U-turn, the Pokemon I'm going to switch to is not going to have the Source Dance bonus. So I'm going to use another move instead, which is Baton Pass. Baton Pass does not target the enemy, targets yourself, and when you switch to another Pokemon, you keep all the stat boosts. So that's how Baton Pass basically works. You're trying to build a team that can set up a lot of boosts and then pass it onto a single Pokemon. In this case, it's this fat ass, basically. He's really powerful, and he also uses a move called Power Trip, whose power increases the more stats you have boosted. That's the whole point of Baton Passing. But like, I could, for example, record this sweeping a boss with a Pikachu. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sweep a boss with Pangoro just so that you newbies can see how it's done normally. And then I'm going to go and get my Pikachu and I'm going to sweep another boss so that you can see that with Baton Pass you can sweep any boss you want. You just have to be skilled enough or you just have to practice enough. So how does this team work? Well, basically we are trying to Baton Pass onto our Pangoro so that it's super fast, it kills everything in one hit and it cannot be killed. So we're going to keep it with a Sash. We will want the ability Mold Breaker. This ability basically ignores the opponent's abilities. For example, if Geodude, let's see. If a Geodude has the ability Sturdy, and it's at full HP, it will always survive one hit. But if you have the ability Mold Breaker, it will ignore it and kill it always in a single hit. So you also want this ability. Then as the nature, you also want Adamant. Let me explain why. You want Adamant and not Jolly. By the way, I'm going to do something quick before anyone PMs me while I record. You want Adamant because it increases the attack and it decreases the special attack on Pangoro. In another Pokemon, it might be different. For example, if I search for Gengar. For example, in Gengar, you want, for example, Modest for bosses. And I will explain why you want plus attack or plus special attack natures instead of plus speed. So basically, Pangoro does not need a special attack, so you just get an Adamant nature. Why Adamant and not Jolly? Let's say. When you have a stat of plus 6, which means you basically increased it to the maximum, the stat gets multiplied per 4, right? So basically, 206 would first go to 412, then it would go to around 600, and then it would go to around 800. The fastest Pokemon in bosses is around 500 speed, and that's Brock's Mega Aerodactyl. I think it's at around 480 speed. So after two speed increases, this would already outspeed it with Jolly. It's unnecessary because you're going to try to boost to the maximum, and just with two boosts, it's already going to outspeed the fastest Pokemon in bosses. And this is a really slow Pokemon actually. It's incredibly slow. Without this, it would be only at 130 speed. So, if this Pokemon, being so slow, while fully boosted, is already able to outspeed Mega Aerodactyl, you don't need speed natures in bosses. So you just used Adamant or Modest, depending on your boss sweeper. For Pangoro, the moveset we're going to use is Power Trip. This move is insane in bosses. It basically multiplies its power depending on the amount of boosts you have. The more power you have, the more it damages. It's as simple as that. We use Crunch for specific bosses. It's called Morty because it has some Pokemon with an ability that if you hit it, for example, with Power Trip, it has a chance of disabling the move. If it disables the move, you're kind of screwed because you're not able to kill everything like in a single hit anymore. We're going to use Crunch for some bosses, just in case they have this ability. We're going to use Storm Throw. There are some bosses that are super tanky, that have Dark types, that resist Crunch and Power Trip. Also, another reminder, the only move in the game, as far as I know, I think the only types in the game that resist Dark type attacks are Fairy, are Dark, and I'm going to check before I say this last type, Dark type resistances. Just in case, I'm literally going to Google it because I don't want to give wrong info. Dark type, Dark type. Dark type. Also gets resisted by fighting. So for example, let's say that I find a Fairy. I'm going to probably Earthquake. Unless I have a lot of boosts, then I'm still going to Power Trip because Power Trip is insane. But in a normal situation, if you're a newbie, you would probably Earthquake instead. If I find a Dark type, instead of Power Tripping, I'm probably going to Storm Throw because it's super effective against Dark types, for example. It's just basic stuff. So okay, now we have our Baton Pass like Sweeper. Even for a newbie, it's easy to use. It's not complicated. I don't really care. I could I don't know. I could just go and use one of my Medichams, for example. I would use this. No, probably not this because it's bad. I would probably use this No Guard and Adamant, for example, and I would probably teach it 4 moves. And after I Baton Pass onto it, since it has No Guard, it won't miss Dynamic Punch, and I will probably Dynamic Punch everything to death. For this tutorial though, I'm going to show you with Pangoro, but then I'm going to record more videos, like testing new stuff. I'm going to even try to sweep a boss with Magikarp, just for the memes, because I think I can actually make it work. So now we have our boss sweeper. Okay, nice. This is the one we've chosen. Now that you've chosen the boss sweeper, you have to choose the team you want to build around it. In this case, I'm going to build, for example, with Medicham. Medicham is our Baton Passer, and it's super weird. Like, nobody knows why I'm using Medicham. There's 2 options I like to use. I like to use Dodrio, for example. But why Dodrio? Because Dodrio and Medicham have used a move called Acupressure. Acupressure basically boosts a stat randomly 2 stages at once. And you're going to be like, why is it good? Because it's random, like you cannot control it. Well, basically what you're trying to do is you're trying to debuff the opponent so that it misses all moves, and you spam Acupressure like an insane person. I can't use the word I wanted to use on YouTube. And you're going to boost non-stop until all your stats are maxed. And you're basically going to use Acupressure a lot. If you're a newbie, I really recommend you get a Medicham Jolly, or you get a Dodrio, sorry. But Dodrio can only learn the move on an event area with a tutor. Medicham can learn all these moves anytime. So that's why I'm using a Medicham for this example. I'm also going to make it harder for myself, and I'm going to use non-trained... This is not trained properly. This should be 252 HP and not attack for Baton Passing, because for Baton Passing this doesn't attack anything. This should be tankier. But I'm going to try and make it like a bit more difficult and challenge myself and see if it works. If it doesn't work, then I might have to scrap the whole recording, which is gonna be sad, but whatever. We will need the move Baton Pass on our Baton Passer, obviously, because we need to do Baton Pass stats. We will need the moves that we are going to use to boost. In some Pokemon, you would use Source Dance, Protect, I don't know, maybe Agility and stuff. But I'm just going to use Acupressure on this guy. It's only going to be a single move. Then I'm going to use Recover. The access to recovery is not universal. There's many Baton Passers that don't have access to recovery. That's, for example, the issue with Furret. Furret doesn't have any access to recovery, but it's the easiest one to farm for newbies, because it's super accessible from the early game. And it learns all these moves by level up, and these moves are insane to like Baton Pass for any of your Pokemon. The problem with Furret is that it doesn't have any healing things. So if you get crit, you instantly die. Unfortunately, it happens. And lastly, I'm going to use Substitute. Some people don't know that if you substitute and Baton pass, the substitute is kept. So you Baton pass it to your teammate, let's say your Pokemon mate. So you're going to pass the substitute onto another Pokemon. Now, Cottonee is going to be one of my 3 debuffers. The debuffers on a team basically have to put the opponent at stats at such a low level that they can literally do nothing to you. We are also going to study which Pokemon we have to debuff and which ones we don't, because there are some Pokemon that you cannot debuff in some ways. For example, the main strategy with Whimsicott is to switcheroo. With Prankster, it will always go first, and we will give a Legging Tail to the opponent. However, this is not possible against Mega Pokemon, because Mega Pokemon have a Mega Stone, and the Mega Stone cannot be removed. So you will instead use Cotton Spore. That's one of the cases where you have to use your brain and not going blindly. Next thing we are going to use is Charm to debuff their attack. And Memento, when I think that the Whimsicott is already done its job, I just Memento it, so that it reduces the attack and special attack of the opponent, but I also switch into the Cottonee, for example. Somebody's messaging me on... Okay, I have no idea who it is. I was just checking my... How is it called? I don't know. Discord, yeah. I'm going to use Cottonee too. It does the same as Whimsicott. But the thing is that you can use an evolution and a pre-evolution in the same team in bosses. That's why I'm using both. This is the same, but it's going to actually use Flash instead. I'm not going to use Charm on this. I'm going to actually use Flash, because I'm going to try to reduce the opponent's accuracy as much as I can, so that I can be as lucky as possible with Medicham. This is pretty much a bullshit strategy, but it's the most reliable thing I can do. For bosses, for now, it's worked for all of them. And I don't really trust this guy because I have to... Well, I have this... Let me find it real quick. It's this one? Yeah. I have to retrain this one. I use Jolly for my Baton Passers. Your Baton Passers can have a defensive or a speed nature. That's completely fine. Both are fine. I use a speed nature because if I switcheroo a Legging Tail to the opponent, which will make it always move last, the speed nature doesn't matter, but there are some bosses that start with a Mega Pokemon, and you cannot switcheroo them, as I said, so I'm going to use this instead. I would probably build this with full HP and full speed, with Jolly, and just run it. So now that you've understood why I use this, the last part is, Jumpluff is my extra. Jumpluff is needed for some bosses. It's needed for, how is it called? Pumpkin King. Because the Bisharp it starts with has the ability Defiant. The ability Defiant boosts the Pokemon stats non-stop. If you try to debuff it with, for example, Flash, its attack is going to increase massively. But if you use Worry Seed, it disables Defiant. This is also the case with Misty's Milotic, which abuses competitive. If you try to debuff it, its special attack is going to increase. It's also the case with, I think it's either Chuck or Brano, I don't remember the boss name, but it's in Saffron's Gold Gym. And it starts with a champ that knows no guard. And it doesn't matter if you flash, because no guard will make it so that it doesn't miss any moves. So you have to Worry Seed it, for example. There's some bosses that I use this Jumpluff for. But I normally stick it everywhere and just try to flash, Cotton Spore, Memento again, just in case, as an extra. And then I set up all the hazards I can. Stealth Rocks, Toxic Spikes, and then I self-destruct with my Fortress. Why Fortress and not any other Pokemon? You could use any other Pokemon, it doesn't matter. The only actually relevant one is Stealth Rocks. But I have used Fortress because it has 30, it has insane bulk, but also it has access to every single, hazards. And I want to ensure that I win, basically. So now we are going to try and beat a boss, if I don't, completely throw it. Full HP, Sash. Yes, this is fine. This is also fine. I don't know. I always use Bright Powder on this, and I'm trying to search for a better item. But Bright Powder basically gives you an extra dodging chance, and it helps a lot so that I can set up more hazards. I think it's completely fine, yeah. Just checking that everything is fine. Also have to remove... I don't know if I have to remove... I'm going to... Pomegberry, this just in case. Oh shit. I'm trying to do an easy boss so that you guys can see how it works. but also so that I don't fail miserably, because if I fail miserably I'm going to be kinda tilted. Because this recording is already, let me see how long it is. 15 minutes long. This boss also starts with a Mega instead of a normal Pokemon, so I'm going to... First I'm going to actually Whimsicott. So first of all, you're always going to study the first Pokemon that the opponent is going to throw. You can search the wiki for info on it, so that you can be prepared ahead. In my case, I have a chart already. So I'm going to go and check. It's a Mega Steelix for this boss, for example. And I'm showing you guys that you should write down these things just for the next attempts. I'm going to go on to Chuck. Boss Chuck, where is it? Bruno, sorry, it's Bruno. Starts with Mega Steelix. Mega Steelix has the ability, if I'm not mistaken, Sun Force. So I don't need to worry seed it or anything, I just need to debuff it. It's a physical attacker. So what I'm probably going to do is I'm probably going to charm it first, a lot. Yes. Going to choose the difficult. So it starts with Steelix, but it's going to immediately Mega Evolve to Mega Steelix. Since I know it has a Megastone, I'm not going to Switcheroo. I'm going to charm instead. Or I'm going to Cotton Spore if I want to reduce its speed. Since I know I'm going to be faster, always, than this thing, because this thing is super slow. You open your Pokédex, you check the stats of the Pokémon. You see that it only has 30 speed. Jumpluff has 110, this has 80 speed, this might not be faster, Pangoro might not actually not be faster, but since I'm going to Baton pass some stats onto it, it's going to be faster because I'm going to give it speed. Fortress, I'm not sure if it's faster. Jumpluff is going to be faster and this is going to be faster. So my main priority right now is to reduce its damage. Now it Mega Evolves. Perfect. Heavy Slam, it's going to deal a shit ton. Yeah. Thanks to this, I might barely be able to survive another one. Oh, that's a shame. So now I'm going to... I could have just gone with Jumpluff to be honest, but like, gonna risk it. Since I have the same moveset almost, and I can Cotton Spore with this thing, I'm not really worried. So I'm going to Flash once. Let's see how much it does. That was a lot. I need to Flash it 6 times. Well, it doesn't need to be 6, but it's basically the easiest way. I flashed it twice. Let's see, 3rd time. This guy doesn't miss a move, holy shit. 4 times. Nice, now it started to missing moves. 5 times. And 6 times. Okay, now it's completely debuffed. Perfect, that's fine. On a normal situation, I would have reduced the speed of the Mega Steelix, but I am trusting that it's going to be slower than... It's going to be slower than my... Medicham. This was basically a mistake, because I should have Cotton Sport it at least once. You always Cotton Sport it at least once. Otherwise it could be very wrong. You're also seeing that I'm literally dodging almost everything, and it deals no damage. So I'm going to check my PP. I used... Okay, I'm missing 1 spikes. Just a note for newbies. You can only use 1 Stealth Rock, you can only use 2 Toxic Spikes, you can only use 3 spikes. Now I'm going to self-destruct instead of Explosion, because you don't want to Explosion some bosses because their lead Pokemon can actually die by accident. That's the case with Chilos boss. And I also kill my whole team so that it doesn't really want to roar me. Now I'm going to substitute first. Exactly, I'm faster, perfect. It missed. And now the fiesta begins. Yay! Oh, I got the most best. Yeah, that's the best stat you can get first. Because if this guy suddenly switches... If this guy suddenly switches to another Pokemon, the debuffs will be reset, because it's going to be a new Pokemon. And you can see that I already gained all my HP back, so I just substitute again. It missed again. I basically abused this non-stop. Oh yes, that's perfect. That means I already won the team fight, basically. Unless I get super unlucky. You can actually get super unlucky and be hit too many times in a row. I'm trying to pray that Acupressure gives me the physical defense boosts, because I kinda need it right now. Now I'm going to substitute and I'm going to recover a bit just in case. Ooh! This is getting risky. It's getting risky. Don't like it. Because I also know that the earthquakes deal more than 50%. I deal more than 25% because they instantly kill my substitute, so I don't want to risk anything. But the Ice Fangs are not dealing nearly enough damage to break my substitute, so it doesn't matter. And now I got the defense. Now this boss fight is absolutely won. There's literally no way I can lose unless it suddenly uses Roar or Dragon Tail. If an opponent uses Roar, even if you're behind substitute, it's going to switch you out, and it's going to make you lose all your boosts. See that I took like 3 Ice Fangs already and it didn't break? Now it's going to break. I took 3 Ice Fangs before it broke. This is going to be a bit long, but I'm pretty happy that it worked the first time, even though I'm using a super shitty one. If I had more HP, the substitutes would be tankier, because it takes 25% of your max HP, and I would probably have stood a few more hits. I need to probably fix this, but I'm just doing this for the recording. Acupressure. I might even train this Pokemon myself, because I feel bad giving it away to someone just to train it. I could have Baton passed already, but what I'm going to do is I'm basically going to do the Pussy strat, which is boost everything to the max. It's 7 stats, so you stop at 27. See that? It ran out of PP, so when it ran out of PP, it had to move to another Pokemon. And check this, I'm still doing this. Like, I literally don't care if it switches at all. I'm literally ignoring this thing. It misses, it doesn't really matter, because I boosted myself so hard. And that's it. Now I can just... No, actually, I'm going to actually keep going. I'm actually going to show you how humiliating this is for the opponent. This is why I think Medicham is broken for bosses. And it's the same with Dodrio, actually. I'm going to check. If I'm not mistaken, you only need 21 times to boost all of your stats. I'm just going to check now. Exactly. You only need 21. It misses. Perfect, that's perfectly fine. Now it gets into Steelix again. Steelix has no PP though, so it's going to immediately switch out again. So this is a free turn, if I'm not mistaken. Exactly. It has no PP, so the game it gets confused and it's like, bro, what the fuck do you want me to do? I have no PP, I can't do this. I'm not going to fight it, fuck it. And it just switches it out. So I'm going to Pangoro now. And now I'm just going to click Power Trip non-stop. And now everything is going to literally explode. Pew! Bye. It tries to switch Steelix again, which is super stupid because it cannot do anything. It's going to switch out immediately again, and it's going to give me a free attack always. But this is the case with this boss. It doesn't really matter what they do, because you're always going to go first and you're always going to one-shot them. There's literally no Pokemon that can tank, like, max stats Pangoro with this. And now it's going to switch out again. I'm going to kill this Pokemon instantly. It's going to switch in Steelix again. I'm going to kill it instantly, and then I'm going to kill the last guy. So that's how the Baton Pass team works. This can be done with like literally any sweeper. What I'm going to do... Okay, that was weird. I'm not going to... What? Well, I don't know. That was weird. I don't even know. This game has bugs everywhere, but so yeah, that's basically how the team works. This is what I use. This is a really... Well, it's not a newbie friendly one, because I'm using... This guy is the only guy that is a common. The rest are rare. I'm going to pick, I don't know, Shiny Meditite for the memes. This is basically the Baton Pass team I recommend for newbies. It's a bit hard to farm, but if you don't want to wait, I will probably go for this, Jolly. Ability doesn't matter. Just 20 plus in everything, so that it's as bulky as possible. And you put 252 in speed, 252 in HP, with leftovers, with this moveset. It's very easy. You might need daycare access. You can ask a friend, or you can get it yourself. It doesn't really matter. I use an Adamant Pangoro Mole Breaker from Pinkan Island. Pinkan Island is now easy access to Newbies. Fortress and Pineco are literally farmable in Kanto and Johto. You can get them practically everywhere. You just need Sturdy, Impish, Relaxed, Careful, or Sassy. Any of these for work. Jumpluff is the evolution of Hoppip. It is literally huntable everywhere. This should be no issue. I still don't know how I haven't trained this thing. Like, I've had this thing. Look at the ID. It's 3 million. Like, the most recent Pokemon are over 5 million already. And this thing is, like, so old. Some of my Pokemon are so old. Like, look at this. 2 million. Like, it's so old. And still, like, some of this stuff I've not trained it. And these two, you can hunt them in Hoenn, or you can hunt them in Pinkan too. So, Pinkan, Pinkan, Pinkan. I don't know if we were Medicham is huntable, actually. Meditite, let me see. Well, you can actually get in Trainer's Valley. You could actually hunt it. So, for this team, you only need Johto at maximum, because you can get this in Kanto, Pinkan Island. You can get this in Kanto and Johto, you can get this Kanto and Johto, you can get this in Kanto, you can get this in Kanto. So it's kind of funny. So that was the team, I hope you liked it. I'm gonna stop recording now, but I'm gonna retrain my Pokemon so that I can show you onto another bosses, and like how I do it with other bosses and stuff. And see if it works. I might go now, because I hate Misty Boss, because I was tilted because it killed me a few times. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to try and sweep it right now and record it for the memes with a Pikachu. Just to show you that you can basically Baton pass with any team. So I hope you enjoyed it. It was faster to record than my Slowbro team. And yeah, that was actually a nice 100 sub special. I'm really proud of it. Even though it's a shitty video, but who cares? As long as it helps me with this, I don't care. Bye!